Good day and welcome to UFC's Donald Cowboy Cerrone conference call. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I'd like to turn the conference over to Ryan Grabb. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for jumping on the call today. Short notice, I know, for a lot of you guys. But in advance of UFC Fight Night in Boston, coming up on January 18th, which is a rare Sunday night for us, we wanted to get everybody a chance to talk to Cowboy Cerrone, having stepped in for Eddie Alvarez on short notice against Benson Henderson. So this time, I'll turn it over to for questions, and if you guys got anything for Cowboy, operator.
If you'd like to ask a question, please signal by pressing star 1 on your telephone keypad at this time. If you're using a speakerphone, please make sure your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Again, press star 1 to ask a question. We'll pause for just a moment to allow everyone an opportunity to signal. Our first question comes from Kevin Iole with Yahoo Sports.
Hi, Donald. Thanks for doing the call. Quick question for you. What kind of impact do you think it has on your body when you come back 2 or 3 weeks later? Because I know after the weigh-in, you kind of rehydrate and start doing things. So what impact does it have on your body fighting so quickly?
I don't have an answer for you on that one. Probably damaging, I'm sure, but so is cocaine and alcohol. So I think this is a little less.
From your standpoint, because you fought Benson, before, does that make it easier to prepare? You're going in on a short notice where you don't have a chance to, figure out what you want to do in the fight. The fact that you fought him before, does that make it any easier for you?
I was going to say prepare. Shit, I don't even have enough time to prepare a cake. What are you talking about prepare? I'm just going in there fighting. I got enough time to cut weight and get to Boston. So there'll be no game planning. There'll be no... It's just fight. That's all there is to do. It's short, sweet, and get it over with.
Okay, and one last question. Can you talk about the plan you have with Dana after each fight where you talk to him about your next fight? Sort of how do you work that out, and what is the process that you guys go through?
Oh, I just go show up on his doorstep and whine and plead and cry until I get one. It's kind of the process.
Cool. Thank you. Good luck on the 18th.
Thanks.
Our next question comes from Damon Martin with Fox Sports.
Hey, Cowboy. I know obviously you did have those first 2 fights with Benson in the WC. The first one was obviously maybe one of the greatest fights of all time. Second one didn't quite go your way. But what do you remember about those fights, and how much of that does play into this third fight, getting a chance to maybe kind of avenge those 2 previous fights?
Oh, it's funny. Like, this would be the one fight that I cannot honestly tell you guys. I know nothing about my opponent. So I know a lot about Benson. Good dude, friend of mine. Those fights, that was years ago, man. I don't know. What do I take away from those? I take the losses that I got from them. I wouldn't take this fight on short notice. One, if I wasn't a completely shitbag loon, and 2, if I didn't think I could beat Ben. So I'm excited, confident, and plan on going out there Sunday night and whipping the shit out of him. So that's my overall how I feel.
I know you, and as you said, you and Benson have kind of become friends. I remember talking to you guys when you had the eyebrow bet around the Super Bowl. But coming back and looking at his fights over the last couple of years, are you seeing a big difference in him from the time you fought him, or do you still feel like he's kind of the same guy?
Oh, he's still. I mean, dude held the title. He's one of the best out there, man. That's for goddamn sure. It's not like I'm taking a filler fight against some bottom 25 guy. This is one of the top guys, and I know that full and well going into it. Super excited. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. The only problem is when I goddamn get that belt, who's going to be left to fight? That's what I want to know.
You said on Saturday night when we were in Vegas, you had said even kind of in jest, and I'm quite sure you were serious about taking the fight with Matt Brown in Colorado because that's just the kind of guy you are. But taking a fight on short notice like this, did the fact that it was Benson, did that play a factor, or did it really matter if they said, hey, we want you to fight Conor McGregor, would you take that fight too?
Yeah, it didn't matter at all. The opponent never mattered. I just need a who. No, it didn't factor in at all. Not one bit.
Awesome.
The answer
Thanks,
is
Cowboy.
still yes.
Our next question comes from Neil Davidson with Canadian Press.
Yes, Cowboy, you told us over the weekend that you don't like to leave the arena without speaking to Dana about finding out your next fight. This weekend, when you left, did you know that Henderson might be it, or was there a discussion about another fight?
Well, Dana was at home ill, so I actually wasn't able to talk to Dana. So I went and got steak and eggs for breakfast by the executive chefs, talked to Lorenzo a little bit, and really it was going to be, we'll let you know in a couple of days kind of answer what I had. So no, I had no idea Alvarez was injured or Henderson was even an option. I was about midway home, driving the RV, when Dana called me like, hey, man, I don't really want you to take this fight, but I got an opportunity for you. Here you go.
Why didn't he want you to take it?
It's just a dangerous fight, you know. I mean, Dana's like, I think you should take some time off, but I'm not telling you to take time off. He said, I'm just talking to you as a friend. So I was like, all right, well, I'll take the fight.
So you didn't take any time to think about it? You just said yes?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thanks, and good luck.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Brett Okamoto with ESPN.
Hey, Donald, thanks for taking the time. That was sort of my question, is did you even have to think about this one? And, I mean, obviously you're a guy that's sort of your thing, is that you like to turn around and fight as soon as possible. But was there any part of you that was like, Boston in you know, about a week? I mean, maybe that's not something I want to do. You know, I mean, even though that's sort of your thing.
I tried to take the Jim Miller fight same amount of time. When he fought, I'm not sure, some opponent. I fought in Orlando, then I drove the RV to Baltimore, and Jim Miller fought. Somebody filled in, but I did the same thing. I was like, I'll fight Jim Miller next weekend. I'm good. Let's go. So my mentality, I was going to take the fight then, you know, and they ended up rescheduling the fight, and him and I fought later, you know. But yeah, no, my mentality's still the same.
And then I was also going to ask you if there's anyone around you that, you know, when you do something like this, is like, Donald, don't do this, don't take that fight. And it sounds like Dana was one of them. Is there anybody else who was like, dude, don't take this fight? I mean, it's not the right move for your career. Is there anybody else?
I didn't really give anybody else the option to give me that. So my best friend Mike Baldwin, who was driving the RV with me, was like, fuck yeah, we're taking that fight. And I was like, yeah. So that's how that went.
Okay. My last question was, you know, there was a lot of expectations for your second fight with Ben. You know, your first one was really great, and that second one was, I believe, WC 48, the pay-per-view, right? That was on that card. So there's a lot of sort of expectations. People were excited about it, and then it went the way it did. I mean, is this kind of a fight that I know you've always said it doesn't matter who you fight, you just want to fight, but is Ben kind of a guy you wanted a third crack at just because of the way the second one went?
Because I don't think of it like that, but yeah, sure, why not? I don't care. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Best of luck.
You're welcome.
Our next question comes from Daniel Flynn with Breitbart Sports.
So, Cowboy, you won, I think, 6 fights in a row, and you appear to be pretty good for a title shot soon. Other fighters might wait out and wait for a title shot or not take a fight like this. Why jeopardize a title shot with a fight with a guy who's already beat you twice? And does accepting this fight, does that kind of speak to the notion that you're in MMA for the fight, you're in it for the purse, but you may not necessarily be in it primarily to win a belt?
Well, I mean, I don't even know how to correctly answer that question, but yeah, I guess I could sit back like every other fighter and sit and wait, but I'm not every other fighter. I'm my own guy, and I don't give a shit. Bring the fights on, you know. Like I said, if I'm going to be the champ, I got to beat everyone anyway. So what does sitting and waiting and holding my position do?
So, we saw you on Saturday night come into the Octagon and at the press conference with the Budweiser gear on. You obviously have a lot of sponsors. Presumably we'll see you in Boston with that gear. Later in the year, the UFC is going to be curtailing your ability to advertise your sponsors on fight night. Do you have a sense of whether the company's deal with Reebok is going to hurt you or help you? And as a fighter that's been criticized as a company man by Nate Diaz, do you feel an obligation to speak up about the effect of this deal on maybe some of the lower card fighters who may not benefit as much as the guys fighting in the main events?
See, everyone's talking about that, about the lower fighters not benefiting as much. The lower fighters aren't benefiting as much now. They're getting, I mean, let's just look at the last card. You look at the guys on the prelims and the undercard, probably $2,000 tops on their shorts. You know what I mean? Now they're gonna have to chase those companies down. Some of those companies probably aren't gonna pay them. They're probably gonna have to be chasing them down for 6 months. Reebok deal are gonna pay every single time. So those lower fighters are gonna get paid. I think it's a great deal all the way around.
Thank you. Good luck in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Hunter Homistek with Bleacher Report.
Hey, Donald. Thanks for taking the time, man. Hey, I was just
and what
wondering,
the fuck's wrong with being a company man? That's what I want to know. God damn it. What the hell's wrong with that?
I don't personally see anything wrong with it, man. My question was, you're on such an incredible run, and you've kind of said repeatedly that the title isn't really matter to you. You're kind of taking fights, filling up the bank, living your life the way you want to live it. But is this fight against Benson, is the title next after that if you win? Is that something that's been discussed at all?
Dude, I have no idea. That's something, I could not tell you that. I don't have the formula for the title shot, but I know I beat Ben. If there's somebody else, I mean, if I beat Ben, who's left? So maybe one. I don't know. I have no clue how this is gonna work. No idea. Don't care.
Sure.
I'll get that belt.
Sure.
This is the year.
And even if it was with Pettis and Dos Anjos fighting in March, would you even be willing to wait? You're on such a tear. That'd be a couple month wait for you. Are you even open to that?
No, I'll just go ahead and take Uncle Beeb's ass. Tell him come on.
Excellent, man. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Our next question comes from Dwayne Finley with UFC.com.
Hey, Cowboy, thanks for taking the time today. You talked on, previous interviews, and on Saturday, you talked about your legacy, and that's why you were kind of disappointed at how the jury fight turned out. You want to come out and put on a show every time. Taking this fight on such short notice, man, this feels like that this is this backs up your legacy that you will fight anybody, anytime, any place. Is this kind of what that's about?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not like I just say that, and then when it comes to me, I tell my friends, "Oh man, I got to take this fight because everyone expects it." He's like, "No." When they offer to him, it's like, "Yeah, absolutely, let's go." I'm scared of. There's no name that comes across the table that I'm like, "Ooh, damn, I can't take that." No, let's go, let's fight. That's what we do. That's what I'm paid to do. It's my job.
And in the lead up to 182, in our interview, we kind of joked about, if you could fight on a monthly schedule, you'd do it. Now, now you're looking at twice a month. Now, is this a Cerrone? Are you going to push this as the norm? Is this how you're going to do 2015?
Wouldn't that be something? I'll tell you what, I'd love it. I would love it. So, yeah, tell them, stack them up. We'll knock them down.
And my last question, you kind of touched on it there. You're not. You said that you're not about waiting for anything, and you're going to get where you're going, eventually. So I got to imagine that just the third fight with Henderson, the history really probably didn't come into your mind much, right? It was just the next big guy,
exactly.
In your way, correct?
Exactly. Yep, 100%. Yeah, I wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, I get to avenge a lot. No, I was just like, yep. Cool, great. Next guy, bring it on. Cool.
All right, thanks, Donald. Have a safe trip to Boston.
Yep.
As a reminder, it's *1 to signal for questions today. Our next question comes from Ken Pishna with MMAweekly.com.
Hey, Donald. How's it going?
What's up, brother?
Hey, I know you're not one to sit back and break down tape and all that kind of stuff, and I think you would probably use fighting as your training if that was possible, if they let you fight every couple weeks. But looking back at Ben and yourself from having fought twice before, what do you see as the biggest differences in the way Ben fights now and also the way you fight now, as opposed to back in the WWE?
Sure. Well, Ben's kicking game has come a long way, and I see him using his kicks when he likes to wrestle off of other people's kicks, you know, if that makes any kind of sense to you guys. But, yeah, he's come a long way, but so have I. My wrestling has come, you know, full circle. So that's one thing, you know, that I think is going to be a big factor in this fight. I mean, you might even see me taking Ben's ass down. So, yeah, I'm pumped. I'm excited. It's been a long time coming, this fight, whether people talk about it or not. In my mind, you know, someday we were going to cross paths again. I thought it was going to be for the belt, but here it is on 10 days' notice, even better. No time to think, no time to worry. Just go out there and let reaction take over and fight.
And that's kind of something I think, you know, I think the game's pretty mental probably for most fighters, but I think in particular...
You can say all, every fucking fighter. Yeah.
But I think for you and Ben, you know, dealing with the mental side of the game has been a huge part of your guys' when you've had issues over your careers and also with the success you've had. Have you seen a big difference in the way Ben has approached the game mentally and the way you've approached the game mentally lately?
Well, I don't follow Ben that closely. I just, you know, when he fights, I watch. But me definitely has changed. I've attacked mental at a whole nother angle. So you'll see the new Cowboy for sure in there Sunday night. The new mental crazy fucking loon.
All right. Well, thanks, Donald. Good luck in the fight, man.
Our next question comes from Neil Davidson with Canadian Press.
Yes, given the short notice of this fight, will you still be driving the RV to Boston?
Yes, we will be driving the RV to Boston.
And how long will that take?
How long is the drive, babe? 1 day, 9 hours, so 32 hours.
Okay, and just finally for me, you said you weren't very happy with your performance at UFC 182 against Jury. I think a lot of people thought you did pretty well in that fight. Have you changed your opinion?
No, I have not. I still feel like, you know, I wasn't happy with my performance. That's just something for me to deal with and figure out what I need to do. And after this Henderson fight, I'll sit down and take what I need to do with both these fights. So I get the luxury of running it right back. So that's kind of cool.
Okay, thank you.
And our final question comes from Stephan Morocco with USA Today.
Hey, Tom. Sorry I got on a little bit late, but I was wondering, what do you remember about those first two fights with Benson, you know, other than the ending of the second one? What are your memories that stick out?
Yeah, you know, the second fight sucked. That really, I was not making any excuses, but I just wasn't there, man. I don't know mentally. It was just a weird time in my career. But first fight, I felt like I gave it hell, you know, and that was, some people said I won, some people said, you know, he definitely won, but that, just taking it to him and giving him also, in the back of Ben's mind, he knows, fuck, this dude's coming. I already fought him to the death once. I got to do it again because I know he's not stopping unless I quit him. So that's all there is to it. I'm excited. Cannot wait.
What do you mean when you say it was a weird time in your career?
Just kind of a, you know, I don't know. It was just, I wasn't real sure, real confident. Just a weird time in my career, man. That's all I can really say. You know, the Jamie Varner fight after that kind of turned me back around, got me into wrestling. You know, I wasn't me. I wasn't the complete fighter I am today.
Your coach, Greg Jackson, says you have to fall in love with things to make them a priority in your training. Did that fight and that loss prompt you to go out and, you know, fall in love with wrestling maybe, or fall in love with a particular kind of skill set or preparation?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You know, not so much fall in love with it, but yeah, it's just something I definitely need to add to my game. So I 100% took it on board, and wrestling is something that I feel very confident in now.
What did you think of the stoppage in Ben's last fight against Rafael dos Anjos? Did you think it was justified?
I didn't see it, so I can't answer that. I can't answer that confidently. I did not see the fight.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
I didn't. I actually, didn't see his loss to Pettis or his loss to Dos Anjos. Neither fight did I see, so I don't know.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Yep.
That concludes today's question and answer session. Mr. Grab, at this time, I'll turn the conference back to you for any additional or closing remarks.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Cowboy for his time today and the media for jumping on this call. We'll see everybody in Boston on January 18th.
This concludes today's conference. Thank you for your participation.